right, it's still the development report, and I'm Ify Onyekwere. I have in the studio a climate change and energy expert, Nwankwo Nina, who's going to be discussing waste to energy solutions for Nigerian cities. And you can join the conversation on 0911-222-1055, and on WhatsApp you can send in your messages to 0911-112-1055. All right, great to have you again in the studio. Could you just, explain the term waste to energy solutions, so everyone can be carried along? When we say waste to energy solutions, what are we talking about?
Oh, okay. Good afternoon once more.
Good afternoon.
I'm glad to be back here.
Thank you.
After our intense conversation the last time.
Yeah.
Waste to energy technologies or solution is just finding different types of technologies that will be used to harness those non-recyclable waste. So maybe convert it to either heating, cooking, vice versa. So that's basically what we are here to talk about, how we can change the environs of Nigerian cities to venture into this laudable project.
Great. So bearing that at heart, what would you say is the most significant challenges, facing waste management in Nigerian cities, and how can waste to energy solutions address them? In the cities you have lots of use of so many things are being used, and then you have waste. People, the cities generate more waste than you have in the rural areas and all like that. So what would you say is the most significant challenges facing waste management in cities, using Abuja as a case study, or even Lagos, right? Because if you go to areas like Lagos Island and all like that, there's so many activities going on there. So what are the most significant challenges facing waste management in Nigerian cities?
Yeah, the last time I came here, I talked about plastics, recyclable plastics, how you can use plastics to create wealth, and also how the CSR can also integrate their decisions into helping us to remove plastics from our environment. So now you're asking me about the non-plastics, basically what we're talking about. So it's like a continuation of what I did last time.
That's right.
First of all, the challenge is still there, the awareness. There's little awareness on what these things can be done. But I think before the end of this program, people will understand that there's a lot to harness, to gain, to educate, to be enriched if you actually listen to this program to the end, waste to energy. So basically the main challenge is about awareness, because if you know what is happening around you and what you can use those waste products to do, I don't think it will be a challenge. That's basically the thing. So that's what I think is the first thing we have to know, creating awareness on the importance of harnessing waste to usable products. That's it.
Okay, so let's talk about technologies. Talking about waste to energy solutions. How do you think waste to energy technologies can actually be adapted to suit unique needs and infrastructure in Nigerian societies? Looking at the way our economy is, the way our country is right now, what technologies do you think we need to put in place or are already there, but probably people really do not know about this?
There's a lot of technologies available, or even within our reach. It's what we call sorting as source. Sort our waste as source. Like I said, last time I was here, I talked about the plastics, how we can able to use the plastics to generate wealth. But if we talk about the plastic, what happens to the other waste materials?
Other waste, yeah.
So the first thing for us to do is to sort as source, because if sort as source, it becomes easier. Whatever we're going to do, the next phase, it becomes as easy as possible. So when we sort as source, we're able to say, these are plastics, these are metals, these are organics, these are these are hospital waste, these are municipal waste, these are food waste, these are animal waste, or cultural waste, as you may call it. So when we now do that, you're able to now say that because each waste has its peculiarity to technology, because you can't say they're going to be using biodigester to deal with plastic waste or to deal with metals or deal with hospital waste. No. Basically, biodigesters are meant for organic waste. And in Nigeria here, we have a lot of population already, that are into, when we have energy, when you have development in a place, people tend to migrate to that place. And migration costs a lot. It also costs us to have a lot in terms of monetary, economic, and the rest. But the byproduct of that migration is waste. That's the waste is the first thing. So what happens to the waste that comes from when people migrate? For example, in my state, in Enugu State, where I come from, we used to have urban and rural. Do we still have urban and rural now? People now live in the rural. Come to the urban. Everywhere is now like a city. I will not say I'm not from Enugu, of course I have said about my state. So if I'm coming from the city, I'm also depositing in the city. Likewise my place. So
That's
how
right.
do I now mitigate or combat or curb those waste menaces I'm getting, I'm disposing? For example, now when you go around Abuja, for example, you see a lot of cows moving around.
Yeah.
Then when you now see the amount of waste from those cows. What happens to it? Are you aware that those wastes from those cows can be used to generate energy? To power your house and even for cooking. It's called biogas, biodigester. That's one. Then if you look at Federal Secretary, for example, the buildings are not built to harness biogas. It's just built as a waste. I mean the human waste. It's just as a waste. But this human waste can also be used for powering our electricity. So we have to look at how we integrate our buildings into biodigesters, biogas. I heard the government is doing something on water, sanitation and hygiene. They're trying to build more toilets in the whole of Nigeria, trying to stop this open defecation in Nigeria. Yes, I agree. It's a very good initiative. But what happens to defecation when it's full? Do you now call the soccer pickman to come and transport it to the seas? Like I heard that you transport all this waste to the seas and dump it in the seas. No. When you have to do about this wash, you just have to integrate biodigesters that will help us to convert those human waste to electricity, either to power our homes or to power our offices or for cooking. Issue of gas is going for 5,000 per kg. It will be a thing of the past. If we now use our own
when there are alternatives.
Resources. And the beautiful thing about it is that biodigesters are not costly. Can be done within your local materials.
Really?
Just build it doesn't need air. Just cover it, and it has one technology goes through. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm saying that to migrate from my waste to technologies, or to migrate from waste to proper environment, sustainable environment, it doesn't cost much. It's just your mindset. So if you're now having that orientation that this and this will cost you this or will generate this for you, of course you have to do more.
Wow, amazing.
You have to actually do more.
You actually mentioned, some of this waste that can can actually be recycled to energy. You mentioned the cow waste, Could you also mention some, like aside plastic waste, any other, waste material that can actually be a valuable item to convert, into energy so people can know about this? Because we're trying to create awareness. We're trying to let people know right now because we have, like there was something you mentioned, we have in cities like Abuja, you have lots of cows going about. I think it was even as at yesterday, I almost stepped on.
Yeah.
So, and that, all those waste are actually potential for generating alternatives to energy. So could you mention any other waste that could actually be, vital? Because some people might not know, but right now they might want to go into doing research and, findings to create jobs for themselves and some other people.
If you remember that sometimes during parties, there's leftover food. What happens to that leftover food? People come to buy those food. They will claim that it is their dog that wants to eat it or their pigs wants to eat it. They will not tell you actually the truth. Some want to eat it actually.
I'm curious.
But are you aware that those food waste can also be used to convert to energy?
Amazing.
I did a research on coconut husk. This coconut, back of coconut.
Yeah.
It can produce energy.
Wow.
Even sawdust that we just see littering around Abuja, mostly at these timber sheets, can also be used. So basically, most things, even food waste, the food we eat, just that you have to separate the bone.
Yeah.
The bone from it. In order to help it to food faster. Just technology that will help you to decode. So that's what I'm saying. So basically, everything in Nigeria, if we're able to go by the proper waste management strategy or system, we're left with zero waste.
Wow. I think understanding and the mindset, honestly, because everything you're mentioning right now is what people can actually have access to, and it will amaze you to actually know that there are people who would want to do this, but are not really getting the right information. So now we're actually learning that even food waste, coconut husk, wow,
even waste dumps, just needs methane. And I also heard that some people are now into hailing this septic tank, those gas outlets from the septic tank. That's gas. That's methane gas you're inhaling, for crying out loud. That is also waste to energy.
Wow. Okay. You can actually call in. You can send in your messages on WhatsApp, and you can call in. Tell us what you think about this waste to energy solutions, because I feel it's not balanced if we keep complaining all the time as a nation. We need to start taking actions, right? Yes. And there's something I love about this show. It's a place where we bring in experts to talk about important things that can actually make us upskill as a nation, to tell us if you're into waste management, or if something you've tried before, or you're considering it, or the challenges you're even facing as an individual, or you're thinking of going into something in this aspect. This is something that would actually draw the attention of a lot of people, especially international bodies, to you. So you can call in on 0911 222 1055. You can call. I'm going to take the number again. You can call in on 0911 222 1055. And on WhatsApp, you can send in your message to 0911 112 1055. All right. Would are there examples of some successful transition from waste to energy projects that you want to share to us? For probably happened in some African countries. This could actually boost or challenge us as a nation to actually want to do better.
Yes.
Okay.
I always want to use Ghana, for example. If you go to the Ghana Energy Master Plan, I think the Ghana Energy Master Plan, something like that, presenter's statement, it states that all dormitories, all schools, all hotels should go on biogas.
Really?
Because of the waste they generate. The amount of money you're going to use in packing those waste can also be used for something else.
Wow.
So they are also doing it now. So they have a law that if you're into biogas, there's something, let me not just, because I have to be right about what I'm saying, but I know that they're into biogas a lot. That aside, in Nigeria here, I was able to go through this when I was doing my research, because I'm no longer a student. I'm not a candidate, actually. I was doing my defense.
Amazing.
Yes, so when I was doing my research, I was trying to identify some entrepreneurs into this biogas chain. Whether you're into biogas construction, installation, logistics, transportation, feedstock availability, whatever you're into on these chains. So I was able to see that in Nigeria, we are already waxing stronger. But the awareness is still not there.
And that's why we're here,
That's the thing. So the awareness, they even have a association called Biogas, I think it's Biogas something association. I have a presence worldwide, nationwide, not worldwide. And I'm like, I didn't know about all these things.
Wow.
So you see, there's a lot now going on. People are now venturing into this fixed dome digesters. They have it called fixed dome and the floating drum, which fixed dome means you can use your septic tank, you call it sockaway in Nigeria, to convert it to biogas. Then floating drum means maybe these movable toilets that we have, you now attach a biodigester to it that can be movable, can move it from point A to point
B. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you are, you can also do it. So as far as you have the feedstock is available, the manpower is there, it doesn't even need little maintenance to have a biodigester in your place.
Wow.
Can use a cover bucket, can use gallon, can use GP tank, you can use, I don't know. So the materials are locally, not that you're going to go to China to import. No, it's locally fabricated, locally produced in Nigeria.
Wow. Okay. Because now I'm standing. As you were talking, I was imagining someone who probably might want to go into this. Because we have people who study courses related to this in the university, and they might feel like, oh, I tried to do this, but I'm just one person, and I may not really have the capacity. How would you, talking about partnership, what would you say people should, do as regards, partnership to actually make sure that things like this actually come into place? Because looking at someone who is just a graduate, a fresh graduate from a university and probably is into research and all like that, what do you think the person should be doing as regard partnership to be able to, incorporate this or set up something reasonable as regards waste to energy?
First of all, you have to know that you have the motivation. Waste, that idea, that psychology that is dirty. So like me now, with my nails, I fixed nails. I'm touched, and I'm trying to pack dirt. People like, are you okay? Are you normal? That motivation should be there. That determination should be there for you to say you want to partner. So you have to show your zeal first.
Zeal.
Your zeal should be there, because it's not going to be an easy one. But it doesn't matter. It's a woman called Janeda somewhere in Gogolada.
Okay.
She does waste to energy, but using plastics actually. But hers, you won't even know she's doing it. When you see her, you won't even know. But when you get to her factory, you see that she's really doing such things.
Wow.
So there are more than 1 million people into waste to energy using biogas, irrespective of the waste content. What am I trying to say? Partnership is there, but you have to know that you have to have the zeal, determination, and the
passion
for you to be able to venture. Wow. Then again, if you're able to have those things, now there are many avenues you can explore. You can explore the government avenue, you can explore the private sector avenue, you can explore the banking avenue that will help you, because you're going to also be selling the energy that you're getting. If you look at those entrepreneurs, like I said, they're already trunking the biogas in a trunk, and they're selling it massively. So,
okay, this is actually very good to do. Okay, someone is asking a question, but okay, I wanted to address this the issue of greenhouse gas emission and mitigation on climate change. So, would you tell us how waste to energy solutions can actually help reduce greenhouse gas emissions and mitigate climate change? In our country here. Let's talk about our country here.
Okay. Let me be practical. Let me give practicality. When you go to a waste dump, what do you see? What do you perceive? What do you hear? What do you feel? Some kind of smell.
Okay. 1 minute first. Sorry, if you're sending us messages on WhatsApp, could you please type your name and where you're listening from, so we can actually call your name and where you're listening from. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that. You can.
Yeah. I said when you get to a waste dump, that's a practical example. Knowing really what that is, a mixed waste. You have all sorts of waste in Nigeria. I don't know for other countries where they do sorting and the rest. When you get to a waste dump, you feel something like a gas. You have one odd smell.
Yeah, true. Even sockaway areas and all.
Okay, sockaway. Okay, I just want to use one that we are familiar with. Waste dump, dump sites, and the rest. What happens to it? What happens when you see those things?
Yeah, so
it's just asking, when you just get there, you just like, you try to close your nose.
The smell and all, yeah.
That is money. You're saying, no, I don't want money.
Amazing. Okay.
It's already causing a harmful, it's going to be causing a harmful effect to your life because of the bad air pollution it's going to be producing.
Okay.
Because you're going to be leaving that place to say, I don't want to stay here. Then when air pollution gets the atmosphere, what happens? It alters the atmosphere. That's why we're having now longer rainfalls, shorter rainfalls. When we're supposed to have rain, don't have rain. We now have sun and the rest. That's climate change actually.
Yeah.
That is what it does. But how do we now combat its effect of it and reduce this thing to minimum of 1.5 as UNFCCC have told us? It's just by doing what? By trapping those gases. Since it's money, how do I now make this money visible for me to use? Not seeing money and say I can't touch money, but you're complaining. Seeing money, I can't touch it, but I'm complaining I want money, but I'm seeing money.
Wow, this is actually because I believe it's actually this is not just peculiar to me, because I know that when I see jobs, especially there was a time I was in Lagos, and there are some sites, there are some areas you get to, you see waste dump and everywhere begins to smell. So it means I was actually running away from wealth.
Money, yes, from wealth, yes.
Amazing. All right. Okay, so someone is asking a question here. Akachuku Okechukwu from Abuja says, Okay, I think it's because you talked about climate change here. He says, does climate change affect the health? Okay, you have to answer him. All right. Okay, there's another question here. Would you want to answer that first and then? You're smiling. It will amaze you. It will amaze you to know some of the things that... Okay, we have Ile Chuku Chimgozirim from Abuja here. It says, does climate change has anything to do with food waste age? Okay, with food wastage. Does climate change has anything to do with food wastage? And then the second question he is asking here, it says, what's your advice for those in an underdeveloped country or state, or for those that are uneducated who want to go into this kind of things? That's a very brilliant question. Yeah, so I think you would answer everything together. Okay.
Actually, people that say no, I'm laughing. You know I'm laughing, but it's fine.
Oh, really?
You know I'm laughing, but it's fine. Okay, yes, climate change affects health. You know, when there's increase in temperature, like, let me use not for example, what they call meningitis. No, not meningitis. They said your neck falls 40 degrees. It's heat, excessive heat.
Okay.
No, I don't know what they call it. I can't remember the name they call it. When you have this excessive heat,
yeah,
your neck starts twisting and the rest. It's caused by high temperature. What is high temperature? It's climate change. You know, climate change is the change in climate over a period of time.
Yeah.
For 30 years, at minimum 30 years. So that's what it causes. That's how climate change affects health. So for undeveloped countries, undeveloped people,
like for people who are in people who are not educated, or people who are in underdeveloped countries that want to go into the job of turning waste into energy solutions. Like, where do they start from? What do you think they need to do?
Well, first of all, you need to start sorting. One, to identify locations where they practice this. I can't tell you that. I can't give you a rough design of what it looks like, or I'll tell you a rough information of what it looks like. You need to identify where such things are being organized, participate, then you learn more. I can't just tell you anything. Anything I tell you here, it doesn't make sense to me. Telling you have to bring this, connect it to this, use a pipe, wire to... No, it doesn't make sense. Just identify areas that they are doing such things, and from there you upskill.
Amazing. Okay, so if you're listening and then you want to follow this conversation on Twitter, at TDEV Reports, you can follow the conversations there, so that you know, we can also have a conversation about this. It doesn't have to end here, because this is a very serious issue. I have another question here. It says, how can the government mitigate the effect of climate change and waste management in Nigeria? Okay, talking about the part of the government now. Policies. How are they being implemented? Pato in Lugbe. Okay, how are they being implemented? Any ideas? What's going on? Is there any effort from the government to actually push, this? And why? Because I feel like I had a guest last week. He was mentioning so many things that the government are doing, but I feel like there's a gap in knowledge. The government is doing something, and then people do not even understand what's going on. Like, we've been talking about climate change for a while now, and then, people asking, how does climate change relate to health? But I believe that the government has been doing stuff around this, so like, as this person asked, are there works from the government, to actually meditate, climate change and waste management in Nigeria?
Yes.
Okay.
And like for Nigeria, I think Energy Commission is in charge of all these energy-related problems, providing solutions to them through policies and frameworks, guidelines, and etc. But like you said, there's always a gap. The gap is information. If you look at the chain, we have the government, we have the CSOs, we have the public research institutions, we have the private sectors, we have me, we have you, we have farmers and the rest. Is there any way we are going to integrate all our findings into one place? Because as you're hearing it now, somebody else has heard it in a different place, on a different portal, maybe. Like when you do questionnaire, you say, where do you hear this thing from? Say, I heard it from radio, from TV, from friend, from colleague, from this. Okay. So there are different places you heard about it. How do you now come together and say, now we've heard about these things in different places? How do we integrate what we've heard? Maybe I tell you a story about Ghana, somehow about Nigeria, Niger, and the rest. How do you now come and say, okay, Ghana has done this. Nigeria should look at this model and see how they're going to integrate this model into what they have done. So the need for us to all come together and work in synergy, irrespective of who you are, where you are, or what you represent, and see that it's just a one Nigeria. It's not like we are dividing Nigeria into 5 or 6 or 2. So all our efforts can now be visible, because if we are together, it's visible. If we are in silos, it's not going to be visible. Just like one out of whatever.
Okay. Talking about the gap in knowledge from what is happening and then getting to the normal Nigerian everywhere out there, how would you what websites or what kind of things do you think people should be making research on to actually keep to date to activities that are going on climate change mitigation, on waste management and all like that? What do you think people should be looking at, making research about? Because it feels like the things that are important are not being attended to, and then the ones that are of lesser value and all like that, so much attention is really going into there. So what do you think people should be doing to actually keep to date to what's going on?
Okay, social media is actually a very good tool. It has a good and a bad effect. Sometimes we'll do this hashtag bring back our girls, hashtag end bad governments, hashtag whatever. If there's hashtag, that hashtag makes it easier to be found. Like if I type my hashtag waste to wealth energy, it's going to show you that a lot of things are done on waste to energy. So that way, it's going to make like the awareness is going to be far. Unlike I'm going to TV, maybe NTA by 9 o'clock, there's no light in my house to watch NTA by 9 o'clock, or I'm already sleeping in my house by 9 o'clock, or whatever. But those things, those short messages on social media can be able to cascade down whatever you're trying to portray or say to the environment.
Okay, so as a country, generally, how do you think we should ensure that waste to wealth solutions are accessible to low income communities? How do you think we can actually put this out to people in low income communities, people who really may not really have access to phones and all like that? Where do you think the NGOs, SCOs and all like that come in? What exactly do you think they need to be doing, in case there are people from NGO sectors and all listening right now? What do you think, what role do they have to play to ensure that this, gets bigger and better, so a lot of people get to know about waste to energy solutions?
Okay, thank you very much. Roles of everybody. Let me use the word everybody, because everybody means where you're falling.
Yeah.
There's policy already. There's policy, a lot of policies. There's a lot of plans, a lot of guidelines. But are you aware of it?
That's it.
So who now takes the policy to the grassroots? That's what we ask ourselves. Who takes the policy or the effect of the policy impact of the policies to the grassroots? That's one. So how do we now synergize all our efforts, all our findings together, take it to the grassroots? How do you create awareness, take it to the grassroots? How do you provide such low incentivized materials, technologies, take it to the grassroots? How do you do all these things for the grassroots to benefit? First of all, we have to get more CSOs involved. You and I will be a CSO.
Okay.
More NGOs involved. There are some NGOs that don't even require much money to take it to their localists or their grassroots. They already have their network.
Yeah.
They are already in 30 states of Nigeria. So just like them making a phone call, making WhatsApp group, this and this, and they have a way of calling their people to say, this is what is happening in Nigeria, this is what is trending right now, this is what you have to do, and the rest. So even waste to energy should be incentivized. If I'm actually practicing waste to energy, government should support me to support somebody else. If I don't have the support, I can't support. If I don't have money to support someone, I can't support. How do I support? If I'm practicing waste to energy in my state, I can take it to a grassroots and say, Mr. A, Mr. B, come, let me teach you for free. I mustn't teach you the bigger aspect. I'll just teach you the local one that are able to sustain you and your family for a period of time.
Yeah.
So that's basically sorting again should also be a problem. Should also be a priority in Nigeria, because it lacks sorting. Sort your waste according to the metals, food waste, plastics, bottles, papers.
That's a very serious thing. I think you're going to round off with that, but you need to say it now. Like, you need to highlight it. Tell us how to sort our waste.
If you go to airports in overseas, you see different colors of bin. They tell you plastic, metal, food. They now give you leftover tea. I've seen that one somewhere. Just put a basket. It's a leftover tea.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that when I come and I'm into collecting of food waste, I don't need to start putting my hand. No, that's the climate change and health.
Yeah.
I don't come and just carry that immediately and go away. Like that way, it makes work easier. Labor is divided. Everybody gets what they want. So if Nigerians should start with the first thing first, sorting your waste at source. It mustn't be a government worker. It mustn't be an educationalist. It mustn't be a PhD holder. It mustn't be a professor or a pilot or a student like Akachku and Gozirim. You can sort your waste at source.
All right, we have to call it a wrap here, and we can continue the conversation on Twitter at TDEV Report, TDEV Report. Let's take a moment to celebrate. I'm celebrating everyone who actually is a community champion, who turns waste into energy or turns waste into treasure, however it is. Thank you to our esteemed guests for listening and for sharing your expertise. Thank you so much. And a heartfelt thank you to my producer, Mr. Akpan. Thank you so much. And also Mr. Charles Kalu. You can join us next week for another captivating episode of the Development Report, where we'll continue our journey towards a brighter and more sustainable future. Here's a quote to think upon. Sustainable development is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. I am Ify Onyekwere. Do have a wonderful weekend as we meet to discuss development issues. Same time next week. Bye.
To Hensard University today and unlock your global potentials. For inquiries, please call 0916-998-5150 or 0916-998-5153. Email is registrar@hensarduniversity.edu.ng. Website is www.hensarduniversity.edu.ng. Admission is open to both Nigerian and international students. Hensard University. Service to man is service to God.
We inform, we educate, we entertain. We are the people's 105.5 FM, Abuja.
Can't you hear our children crying? Why doesn't it break your heart? Can't you see our people dying? When did this world get so dark? We're not perfect, but we're trying. We all need to play a part, 'cause things will never change. They'll always stay the same until we do something about it. Talk and do, we need to just stop talking about it. We must talk and do. Why don't you do something?
Yo, this is not a song, it's a statement about the state of a very lost generation. How could we let our little boys become rapists? And how could we let all of our love just turn to hatred? In the States, we see cases of racism. White cops kill us because we have black faces. And in Africa, I don't know where to begin. The same kind of murder, the same color of skin. And we don't care to use our platforms to make a difference. Prefer to drag each other on Twitter so we could trend. We filter all our Instagram pictures just to pretend like we're happy. True happiness only comes from within. And I don't watch the news because it's all bad. Different days, same hashtags. Different names, different victims, same flashbacks. They don't concern you. May your children never also have to say me too. Amen. They ask me why I'm so consumed with community service. It's because my community's hurting. My